Got another one. Oh, just someone hasn't read the movement standards. That's okay. All right, 5 past.
With everyone in.
Okay. All right, everyone. Hello, thanks for joining us. My name's Emma, obviously. So I'm one of the team running your competition. Few new faces, which is nice to see. Thanks for joining us. I hope you all enjoyed last weekend. Fun, shoulders, and looking forward to these workouts we've got today. So we thought after the back of the qualifying weekend, we had, I think a few of you didn't realise how strict we would be on judging. I mean, myself, I've entered a lot of competitions where we can get away with a lot of stuff, but we just think the fairest way to be fair and be seen as a fair competition was to have really strict judging standards. So to do that, I brought on board Andy. So he was with us at the live comp last year in Brighton, and he has kindly accepted to be my head judge. Oh, one more. Ella, that's your mum coming into the Zoom room. Hi, Mum. Oh, how embarrassing. Oh, it's good to have your parents, so you got everyone knows. Right, so I'm going to hand over to Andy. How this is going to work, guys, if we just listen to Andy chat, he's going to chat through WOD 1. And then if you could just pop any questions about WOD 1 you have in the chat, and we'll just make sure we go through them at the end of each workout. And hopefully we should whiz through it nice and quickly because we've got people on the recordings. All right, so yeah, go Andy.
Okay, thanks, Em. So before we run through the flow of all the workouts, just some basic things to think about, some tips and stuff, because as Em said, we tried with the finals, sorry, with the qualifiers to make it as fair as possible. And in actual fact, we were a little bit lenient on some things because the online competition is a new thing for us. And it's also fairly new, I would think, for a lot of you. And we've also got restrictions with COVID and how much access you guys get to the gym. Okay, so couple of things we want to make sure of. If you guys, when you video your workouts, if you can't see yourself in the video, the judge isn't going to be able to see you in the video. It's pretty simple. The harder you make the observation for the judge on your movement standards, the harder it is for them to judge. Okay, so if we can't see you squat, we're probably going to guess that you can't squat. Okay. So you need to make sure that when you set your camera up, if you were judging, if you were looking at those movement standards, could you judge someone based on those movement standards? Okay, so there's no point, for example, doing a front squat with your back to the camera. We can't see the depth that you're squatting. Okay, so when you set up your cameras, have a look. Can you see yourself through all the movements? Get a buddy to look at it. And if you can't, change it up. Okay, because with these timelines, it's really tight to get you guys to redo a video. That's the hard part with this. We know you're putting in a lot of effort, but we don't have time to give you the heads up that, look, you've messed up on your video, you need to do it again. Okay, so just have a look through your own videos, make sure that you can see your movement standards, make sure you're happy with it before you just load it up for us. Okay, second bit is get someone who is a judge. Okay. Get someone who's not going to bro rep you, someone who's not a mate, probably not a parent, okay, who, if you don't squat to depth, they are going to tell you, because the last thing I want is, as we did have, we watched 30 thrusters, and of the 30 thrusters, 15 are no reps, just because someone's worried about hurting your feelings. Okay, this is finals time. We're going to be really strict with those movement standards that we need to ensure they're being enforced. Okay. So get someone who is going to judge you. On that note, we do understand that with COVID, there might be restrictions in terms of, can you have someone in there judging with you? If you don't have someone, you're just going to have to be really strict with yourself. Okay, watch your video back. Okay, and if there's too many no reps in there, you're going to need to redo it. Okay, So simple things is just set up the video really well so we can see everything. Okay. Second one is get someone who can judge you and who's going to know rep you. Okay. With all videos, make sure you read at the start what the movement standards are, Emma's done a great job in terms of suggesting what your setup should be so you can see what we're looking for. Read through that at the beginning. Okay, if there's something that has to be measured, or if there's something that has to be shown at the start of the video in terms of what weight you're using, the length of something, the height of something, make sure you do that. There were several occasions with the handstand push-ups that the line wasn't measured. Okay, and athletes received major penalties for that. In the finals, it should be an invalid video. Okay, so we've had a chance to mess up with those. Really important that you get those right on these. Okay, so I'm going to jump straight into WOD 1. Okay, WOD 1 is real nice and simple, speed limit. Okay, I'm going to run through the RX and then I'll talk about where the masters and teens are. So it's going to be 5 overhead squats. Okay, 15 box jump overs, 10 power cleans, 15 chest to bar, 10 power cleans, 15 box jump over, 5 overhead squats. Okay, and that has a 6-minute time cap. Okay. In terms of the variations for this, for masters and teens, it's going to be pull-ups. Okay. Super important with things like the overhead squats. We need to make sure that we can see you hit depth in your squat, and we can see that you hit full extension at the top where there is a straight line between your ankles, knees, hips, and the bar overhead. Okay. Box jump overs has to be a 2-foot takeover, 2-foot takeoff. Both feet onto the box, and then you can step off. Okay. You can hop off, you can jump off. But the important thing is 2 feet take off onto the box. Okay. And because it is a box jump over, you don't have to fully extend at the top. Okay. On the power cleans, same thing as with the overhead squats. We're looking for full extension with the elbows just in front of the bar or right in front of the bar in the catch. Okay. Chest to bar pull-ups and pull-ups, it needs to be very clear that your chest is touching the bar, okay? Or with the pull-ups that your chin is going to be breaking the line of the bar. So you're going to work your way down, overhead squats, box jump overs, into your power cleans, into your chest to bar or pull-ups, and then work your way back, okay? So just run through a couple of questions that we've had with this. First one that we've had on this was, give me a second. Can I clean and jerk the bar overhead instead of a snatch for WOD 1? Yes. Okay. Can you squat snatch the bar for your first overhead squat? Yes. Okay. Let's just have a look and see if we've got any more questions for WOD 1. So Emma's put in there, can I have a buddy complete the WOD alongside me? Yes, you can, but as long as we can see both movement standards for each athlete. If the second athlete in the video is not involved in the competition, then it doesn't matter. We don't really need to see their movement standards. But if both athletes are competing, we need to be able to see both sets of movement standards really well. Okay. Second question we've got on there, on the box jump overs, can you step up and over and step down? So the simple thing is you can't step up. Okay, you have to jump onto the box, a 2-foot takeoff. Okay, land onto the box, and then you can step down or jump down onto the other side. Okay, but it has to be a box jump, not a step up. Okay, so next one there is, do we have to do the weights at the start, or can we do them at the end as nothing goes out of shot? Sometimes you forget. Obviously, we would like this done at the beginning. It makes it real easy for us as judges. And the simple thing is, because if a judge is watching your video and they see straight away that the weights aren't right, it's real simple. They're not going to watch the rest of the video. Okay, and we can then reach out to you straight away and say, look, we need to make this adjustment. If you do it at the end, the judge is going to spend 10 minutes watching your video. Then we have to make that call. Okay, it's real simple. Just help the guys out at the beginning. Okay. Very quickly, any questions regarding speed limits or WOD 1 before I move on from this?
Yeah, there's just that from K-Pal. If you squat snatch the first rep, then stand up. Yeah, that's rep 1 done.
Yeah.
As long as it hit go parallel when you stand it up. Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
I think that's
Just a point on this, and this probably should have gone with the start, but for all WODs, a couple of things we noticed through the qualifiers: people are grabbing hold of their equipment before the buzzer goes. So when the judge calls 3, when the judge starts 3, there's people who have picked up their double under ropes or picked up a wall ball or got their hands on the bar. You don't touch any kit until it's 3, 2, 1 and the shout of go. Okay? Anyone who picks up kit prior to the buzzer going will automatically get a 3-second penalty or a rep reduction. Okay? You can't pick up the weight until or start anything to do with the WOD until the buzzer goes. Okay? So we're going to move on to WOD 2, which is double trouble. Okay? Double trouble is essentially 21-15-9 of double dumbbell snatch, double dumbbell front squats. Okay? And after the 21-15-9, you have to complete 50 double unders. Okay? The modifications for this for Masters 55 plus and teens 13 to 15 is just a change in the weights. Okay? So a couple of things on this we need to be very clear of. When it comes to the snatches, the weights can come from outside your feet or inside your feet. It doesn't matter. Okay? But what we're looking for with this is you have to have your feet, in order to finish those reps, your feet have to be underneath your sort of shoulder width apart. So you can't go into a sumo type stance and snatch and just take the weights up and down. So we're looking for the feet to be directly underneath the shoulders. Okay? The other point with this is only one head of each dumbbell needs to touch the floor. So it's not both heads of the dumbbell to the floor, it's only one of each dumbbell. Okay, so with the snatch, it's going to be one clear movement of the weight from the floor all the way up overhead. There's no onto your shoulders and a press overhead. These are snatches. So one clear movement. Okay, rep will be counted when the athlete shows full extension between sort of the ankle, hips, so ankle, knee, hips, and shoulders, and arms fully locked out. Okay? When you finish your snatches, you can immediately drop the weights down once you've completed your rep onto your shoulders to start your front squat. But the weights must touch your shoulders before you start your move down. Okay? So you can't, as you're moving down, go into that squat and then catch the weights. Not that I think anyone's going to do that, but the weights have to be on your shoulders with your full extension before you start those squats. Okay? And it's one head of the dumbbell must be on the shoulders at all time on those squats. Okay? Afterwards, you put them down, you go and grab your stripping rope, and you complete 50 double unders. You then come back, you do 15 of everything, 50 double unders. 9 of everything, 50 double unders. Okay, so your time ends when you complete the third set of 50 double unders. Please also note that there is a tie break in there for every set, after every set of double unders. Okay, so super important, whoever is judging you makes a note of that. Obviously, if they forget about it, you're going to need to go back and watch your video. Okay, and just make sure that you write that down. Okay, again, just check up on earlier notes, see if we have any questions. So, yeah, we've answered that one. Yeah, that's fine. And then
for me, that one is just if everyone just makes sure they're side on, it's going to help our judges keep it nice and clear. Side on for snatches and squats is recommended, I think.
Yeah. Okay, and to give you guys an idea with things like squat depth, okay, it's really easy to scrutinize people online because guess what? You can super slow-mo a video and be quite harsh. Our judges are not doing that. But what we are looking for is, say, for example, you maybe hit parallel or it's questionable. All we want to see is an improvement on the next one. So we try and replicate what would happen if someone was judging you there and then, that normally you would get a little bit of a warning to say, go deeper. Okay. So what we're looking for is, as Emma said, it's side on, and we're looking for consistency with these. Okay. If it's consistently just above parallel, that's when the no reps start coming in. Okay. It's also really helpful for us on this point. If you have your judge, if your judge over communicates things, it makes it really easy for us. We can hear them. Okay. And it's super awesome to know that then the judge is in control of how you're moving. and it makes it easier for the judges online to follow what's going on. Okay, so if there's no questions left with WOD 2, I'm going to move on to WOD 3. So WOD 3 is relentless. Okay, it has a 16-minute time cap. Okay, so I'll go through RX on this first of all. It starts with 40 calories on the rower for males, 30 calories for females, then into 2 rounds of 16 toes to bar, 16 burpees over the rower. Okay, like I said, 2 rounds of the 16 toes to bar, 16 burpees over the rower, then into 40 and 30 calories again, into the 2 rounds of 16 toes to bar, 16 burpees over the rower again, and 40 and 30 calories on the rower to finish off. Okay, now a really quick thing on this. Okay, I'm sorry, just a quick thing. The difference with this, the only scale on this is for the teens, 13 to 15, is 30 and 20 calories. Okay, now the first one to shout out on this is we had this issue when it came to the rowers. If the judge cannot see that you've completed the calories on the rower, the only option we have on this is to give you a penalty. Okay, so we need to make sure it's in the guidelines. Try have someone there with a second phone. Okay, just video, very simply, just videoing the rower or using the WOD Proof app. Okay, so it's super important that when you start this workout, you'll be seated in the rower, strapped in. You can't have your hands on the handles. The rower needs to be set to 0. You can't have it that it counts down from 40 calories or 30 calories because we've got no idea what you've done. So it has to start on 0. Okay, on the call of 3, 2, 1, go, you pick up the handles and you start. You can only get off the rower once you've hit your 40 or 30 calories. Okay, your judge then can reset the rower then, or they reset it when you come back to it. But when you get back on it, we must see that it starts at 0. Okay, with the toes to bar, real nice and simple. You must start the movement from a hang where your feet are off the floor. Okay, toes to bar, both feet need to touch the bar between your hands. Okay, when you come back down, feet need to pass sort of the line underneath the bar so we can see heels behind. Okay, again, super cool with this. If you're videoing, we need to be able to see or hear that the feet make contact, but it's also really good if we can hear the judge. Because I'll give you an example. If you can hear the toes hitting the bar, or we can see it, and when you don't, we hear your judge call a no rep, it means when we question a movement later on, guess what? We know your judge has been good, so we're not going to sort of highlight that movement because we know the guy or the person who's looking after you is calling no reps. Okay, so that's really helpful for us. When it comes to the burpees over the rower, okay, again, important with this, it's chest to floor. So that's your pecs, your nipples, whatever it is, chest to floor. It's not your stomach. Okay, it's not that bit just below your sternum, it's chest to floor. So we really need to see you take your time to get your chest to the floor. Okay, it's also a 2-foot jump over the rower, not around the rower and not a hop over. Okay, a couple of things that we saw in the qualifiers is people hopping, okay, or stepping over. It's very easy to see this when we watch a video back that's happening, and that does save time. So it is something we're going to keep an eye on. Real simple, 2 feet takeoff. Okay, it's quite hard for you to land single foot if you're jumping on 2 feet. Okay, cool. So once you've done your 40 and 30, or your 30 and 20 for the teens, 13 to 15, it's 2 rounds of 16 toes to bar, 16 burpees over the rower, back onto the rower starting from 0, back into the 2 rounds of toes to bar, burpees over the rower, and then finish with the 40 and 30 on the rower again. Okay. So again, with this, like I said, suggestions on this is have a second camera on it, someone just videoing it, or the other thing that we saw, which was really good in the qualifiers, is the person where you set your phone up, it's someone who's just holding the phone, they video your row, you come away from the row, they then pan out in video, you doing your toes to bar. It doesn't matter really how you set it up, as long as we can see the movements and the reps being completed. Okay. The only thing we would say, if you're doing it that way, your athlete can't start the movements until they're back in the video. Okay. So I saw a couple of questions come up on WOD 3 there. So if we show the calories on 0 on the second video, do we have to show the, no. So do we have to show the calories to start on the main video? So what we want to see when you start the rower is that it's at 0. Okay, so if you're using the second video to show those calories, we need to see the start and we need to see the end and we need to see the athlete moving throughout. We just don't need to be able to see all of the toes to bar and the burpees over the row. But that camera has to be running consistently for that whole WOD. So what you can't do is video the first row, turn the camera off, video the second row, turn the camera off, video the third row. It doesn't work like that. That camera that's videoing the rowing has to be on for the whole time that workout is happening. Okay. So if you send us three videos of the 3 intervals on the rower, not going to accept that. Okay. So I hope that answers that question. If we go back in terms of not touching equipment, yeah, so hands off the handle until the shout of go. Okay, so you're strapped in, ready to go. Hands can be just above the handles, but don't grab hold of the handles until it's the shout of go. Okay, if that happens, it's going to be an immediate 3-second penalty. Okay, so we just had one come in. Cool. Is there somewhere in the submissions to add multiple videos? Unfortunately, we are limited with the competition corner in terms of loading one video for each WOD. What I would suggest that you do, if you use a second camera to video the row, just send it either to Emma, or in fact, don't even send it. Do you want it to go to you, Em, or to me? Okay, so just send it straight to Emma. Okay, so Emma at Shapesmiths, is it .com or .co.uk? .com.
Yeah, Emma at shapesmiths.com. Yeah.
So if you do a second video on the road, just send it straight to Emma. It saves us having to ask for it, okay? So good question. Anything else with regards to WOD 3? No, we're all good with that. So super simple, guys. Just remember on those burpees, it's a 2-foot takeoff. It's chest to floor, so we need to be able to see that. Okay, I know that creates some challenges in terms of how you set your video up. Okay, but you just, when you set your video up, do a couple of reps in between, check that you're happy that you can see what's going on. And then, like I said, it makes it easier for the judge. Okay, if there's nothing else for WOD 3, we're going to move on to WOD 4. So WOD 4 is titled Dead Shot. Okay, 10-minute time cap, 12, 9, 6, 9, 12 of deadlifts and pistols, or box step-ups for the Masters 55 plus and the teens 13 to 15. Okay, so you'll complete 12 deadlifts. You'll then go and complete 12 pistols on the right leg, 12 pistols on the left leg. Go back, complete 9 deadlifts, 9 pistols on the right, 9 pistols on the left. We get the idea. So it's not 12 pistols in total. Okay, it's going to be 12 pistols on one leg, 12 pistols on the other. Okay. Please can we make sure when we're doing things like the deadlifts, again, make sure that we're hitting full extension at the top. Okay. And you need to demonstrate control, so no bouncing of the barbell. When it comes to the pistols, make sure that the working leg, we can see that you're hitting below parallel. Okay. And that when you come up, you fully extend on that leg. So if you're doing the pistols on the right leg, you fully extend on the right leg before you touch the floor with your left leg or before you go back down. If you aren't fully extended and the non-working leg touches the floor, you're going to be no rep on that. Okay, we need to see full extension on the one leg before the second leg touches the floor. You have to complete all 12 reps on the one leg before you go into the second leg. Okay, I saw a question pop up there. Can you do the left leg first? I don't have an issue with that. You happy with that? Yeah. So it can be either left or right, doesn't matter, as long as you.
It says right in the standards. Obviously, we can't discriminate against left and right-footed people. That's fine with that. You are.
Okay. So we're happy with that. We obviously understand that some people, we all have our favorite leg in terms of which one we're going to squat with. Okay, but ultimately you'll get to the other one eventually anyway.
I just want to, can I just cover off a question from Kelly? So, Kelly, I know you asked a question on WOD 4 earlier. So Erin's team 13 to 15, so she will be step-ups. Yeah.
And the pistols and the step-ups are not alternating. It has to be completed all on one leg first before you go on to the second leg.
Yeah.
So if you start...
Yeah, that's right. I just wanted to just go through the reasoning on that, especially like with Erin. I know she's capable of doing pistols, but if you think you're in the older category of that 13 to 15, so that's good. But we obviously don't want to break the younger ones in that age category, and then the older masters obviously get the step-ups as well. So that's just our reasoning, just a bit of safety in those younger and older age groups. But yeah, good spot, good question. Glad we covered that.
Okay, so just to come back to the pistols and the step-ups, it's complete all 12 reps on one side, all 12 reps on the other side. Okay, so 12 deadlifts, 12 pistols on the right leg, 12 pistols on the left leg, 9 deadlifts, 9 pistols on the right, 9 pistols on the left. We work our way down to 6 and then back up to 12. Okay, super important with this. Okay, in terms of, yes, you can use lifters. Yes, in terms of you can rest in between where you fully extend and the opposite leg touches the floor, but it obviously needs to lift off the floor before you start your next rep. Okay. Again, set the camera up to make it as easy as possible for the judges to be able to see the depth on your pistols. Okay. Just had another question pop up. If the no rep leg, non-working leg touches the floor at any point, is that a no rep? Yes. So if the non-working leg, you drop down into the bottom of your pistol and it touches the floor at any point, that is a no rep. Okay, so as you go down, if the heel of the non-working leg touches the floor before you've completed that full extension, that is a no rep. Okay.
I don't know if they're getting confused with the fact that you have to put your foot on the floor to finish the rep. Does that make sense? Yeah. Maybe it's the set standard. It's a bit confusing. It's a new movement, so it's good that we're covering it off.
Yeah. So just think about how the rep starts. The rep starts with full extension. The halfway point is hip crease below parallel, and the rep finishes when you're at full extension again. Okay. During that whole period of when you started full extension, when you drop to below parallel and you return to full extension, for that rep to be complete, the non-working leg cannot touch the floor. Okay, hopefully that clears everything up when it comes to the pistols. Okay. Last little request outside of those WODs, when it comes to your videos, please only start your video when you're going to show the movement standards or how you've set the room up and you're ready to start your WOD. There's some videos that we've had where 3-4 minutes of athletes talking about what they've done for the day. Okay, so although it's really interesting and sometimes it's really funny, it's super easy for us if we just see the start of the WOD, your setup, and you guys are off to go. Okay. In terms of those 4 WODs, are there any other questions or any questions in terms of video submissions, anything like that, guys? So can the bar start loaded? Yes. Just as we said at the beginning, please just make sure that we see the bar. Ideally, we want to see the weights that are on the bar at the start rather than at the end. Deadlift film from the side, as well as pistols. Yeah, please. Okay. So obviously with the pistols, if you do your right leg first and side onto the camera, don't stay facing the same direction and then do your left leg because we're not going to be able to see it. Okay. Use a bit of common sense, turn around and face the other way. Okay. Easiest way to do it is when you watch your video back, if you can't see the movement standard yourself, my judge is not going to be able to see it. Okay, you guys should be watching your videos back before you load them to make sure you're happy with them. So if you can't see the movement standards, the judge isn't going to be able to see it as well. Just another question's popped in there. Yeah, WOD 1 is the same. So all workouts bars can start loaded. Okay, it's just super important that we see that what weight is on the bar. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay.
Yeah, I just had a quick one from Sarah, but she messaged it to me privately. It was quite a good one. She asked about, do we need to have sound on for the video? Because on YouTube we had all the issues with some of you had issues with the copywriting. So, I mean, Andy might have a different idea. What I would just say to that is quite simple. You turn your music down to do all your chats and things at the start, and then you turn your music up when you want to film your workouts. We don't need to hear anything there.
Yeah. So
I've got less than a minute, Andy, by the way, on my Zoom.
Okay.
Call.
So it's up to you guys. I would just say, you know, the more we can hear from you and your judge, the better. But obviously we need to make sure that we can see the videos. Okay. So yeah, I would say, like Emma said, the most important thing is that we can hear the stuff at the beginning. What goes in the workout doesn't matter so much, just as long as we can see the movement standards. Okay. Please, if you have any issues, last little bit before this runs out, if you have any issues with your WODs, if something crops up, don't submit the video and wait for us to reach out to you. Drop us an email straight away. Okay, I understand that there's restrictions in terms of access to gyms and stuff like that. The quicker we can get onto an issue to help you guys, okay, the quicker we'll be able to be to make a decision. But it needs to be an email to Emma, please. Okay, cool. If there's no other questions regarding the WODs, guys, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. And then either I'm going to have to say goodbye or I think the video cuts off. But make sure that you enjoy the weekend, enjoy the workouts. Okay, it's the whole idea that it's supposed to be fun. Okay, yeah, there's a competition, there's cool prizes and bragging rights, but this should be just a whole lot of fun. Okay, anything else to add?
No, I was going to say, if anyone wants to stay in chat, but I don't know if Zoom's going to kick us off. If you want to stay and chat to me and ask me anything, I'll stop the recording and we can chat. So yeah, thank you, Andy.
Okay, cool, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely weekend and good luck with the competition.
See you guys. Thank you for coming along.
Bye.
Bye, CM.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'll stay and chat to you.
Thank you.